today is what I want to talk about is those of us that think that church is a good thing, but it's not for me. And I suppose there are a ton of reasons why church is not for me in a sense. And I'm sure those of you out there in YouTube land, you've all got your reasons. Some of us, of course, think it is for them. Some of us, of course, go to church but actually are uncomfortable with it. Some of us, of course, have a relationship with it and might go occasionally because it's got some value and they feel like it should be there and it's a good thing. But there's a real part in a lot of us in the world where it's not for us. And I just want to express massive sympathy if you feel that way, because I may be an ordained priest, vicar, but I feel that too. And I've kind of gone beyond it a little bit, but I want to express some sympathy with that. And I wanted to have a chat, to unpick a few of those reasons, to have a chat about some of those reasons we recoil from joining in, and to see what that's about, kind of pick at it a little bit, maybe help our thinking move on a little bit. And I don't know if I'm trying to sell anything to you, but I do want to help us grow in our thinking. One of the reasons a lot of people would give is they'd say, I'm a spiritual person, but I just don't believe in organised religion. And I think when you kind of delve underneath that kind of statement, I don't think it's just about organised religion. There'll be a number of reasons. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into beyond organised religion to churchiness, and beyond churchiness to this idea of doctrine, which is the kind of word that's got really negative connotations for a lot of us. Doctrine, what we mean by doctrine is a system of thought, a way of believing that is prescribed from outside, from somebody higher up down to us here below, and we just have to believe it and obey. And if you're a reasonably intelligent Western European particularly, and broadly speaking British culturally, being told what to think is really uncomfortable, and really we recoil from it. And there are lots of good cultural reasons for that. And I suppose the way it plays out is we recognise that some part of us has a spirituality, has a being in us that wants to connect with the divine, whatever that is. But some part of us feels these intense blockages to life with church as that way of connecting with divine, because we have these barriers, and they're understandable barriers, because it's really hard to be told what to believe and how to believe and what to do, and we, there are all sorts of connotations towards associated with abuse of power, destruction of human spirit. All of that is real and is a real problem. I guess I wanted to kind of have a chat about doctrine. Now doctrine is a system of thought. I just think let's just do some reality here. So I preach, if I'm able to, when I can, most Sundays and in a lot of other contexts, I stand in front of people, but I am well aware that there are tons of people who I'm speaking to who just don't agree. And they've got a kind of switch in their brain, and sometimes I can see the switch happening, which boils down to well, it's all right, you can say that and think that if you like, but I believe this. And I kind of don't mind, really. I would hope, as a person speaking in front of people, perhaps I can inspire people to greater connection to the divine rather than greater compliance to doctrine. But that's the reality of any average congregation in the Church of England. It's just the way it is. But I wanted to kind of focus our mind, instead of doctrinal compliance, to actually kind of what Christian faith is all about. And today it happens to be the case that the reading from the Bible is from the book of Numbers, which is right at the beginning. I think it's about the 4th-ish book of the Bible. And it broadly describes the journey of Israel out of Egypt towards their promised land. In chapter 9, it talks about celebrating Passover and the cloud of fire over the tabernacle. Now, that probably won't mean anything to most of you, but Passover is a meal. Passover is a celebratory meal, one that they held, or presumably still do hold, every year to celebrate the journey out, the leaving of. And then when they're wandering around on their way to this promised land, God comes to them in a cloud of fire and a cloud of smoke in day, cloud of fire in night, and they follow this cloud. What's that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with doctrine? Well, I wanted to focus our minds. Instead of doctrine, we need to think about event. Instead of systematic way of thinking, we need to pay attention to the event. Because I think our problem is not with events, it's with control of thought by people like me. And if we focus on event, something shifts. The event that the Jews are celebrating is freedom to live as a free people. The event that they're engaging in is the presence of God. And so it is if you're Christian. The event that you're paying attention to is Jesus. He happened. The event. That's much more helpful, I think. And the whole action of following God is not necessarily about aligning our thoughts to some great teacher. There is a certain amount that we have to accept that nobody knows, but we follow. So I'd encourage you, if you can't do churchianity, fair enough. But do bear in mind, church isn't about churchianity. Church is about following, learning, joining in the event of God. Amen.